You know, there is one more person I do wish that was here. Kitsune.
Kitsune?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's more of a shy type of person. I don't think he'd have or want to be on the stream, but I can ask him
True.
next week.
You know, there is one more person I do wish that was here. Kitsune.
So, okay, the stream is on and we're live. So, nice to meet everyone. I am the Night Watchman, the host of this channel, and I'd like you to meet Grambo, one of my friends, and my other friend, Riley.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
And today we are going to be talking about transhumanism. Now, this is a pretty interesting topic because it deals a lot with technological and genetic modification. And as you might have guessed from the thumbnail, we're also going to discuss whether that creates the possibility of creating real furries, either through a human modifying themselves or through genetically modifying animals to create human-animal hybrid creatures. So, to start this conversation, we'll start with Grambo and what he wishes to accomplish through transhumanism. Grambo.
Let's see. What do I wish to accomplish? That is very tricky indeed. Well, to me personally, what I wish to achieve through this type of tool is basically this. Wanting to transcend the very limits of my own body through biohacking. I think it's like genetic modification is one of them, whether it be through wanting to improve my eyesight, whether it be my hearing, my senses, heighten them, along with my sense of, when it comes to cardio, all of the basic stuffs that I really wanted for, but also to enhance my ability when it comes to not too much of strength, but I would say rather of speed, how much height that I'll be able to jump, all of that stuff, but also the ability to improve the very imperfections of myself, whether on the base of cosmetic beauty, like for example,
Like, for example, what? I think you told me a few months ago that you wanted to genetically modify yourself to glow in the dark during raid.
oh, I think Limoncello was here about that. Yeah, he recommended me to add some kind of special effect of allowing my skin to change to turn myself into an actual living glow stick, like during special events and such. And I thought, yeah, no thanks. I will just stick to the glow sticks.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I am.
But before you continue, I just wanted to end this because push to talk. Also wanting to change the very skin tone the of my own body. Like for example, my default skin that I was born was basically more tannish, and I want to do like a more lighter color. Also to make sure that I don't have any type of diseases, illnesses, type of germs, like the usual stuff of which this tool can be used when it comes to, yeah, something like that. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Riley sends him. Oh, hey Riley. Okay, Grambo was done with explaining his side of things. Uh, okay, me personally, I think transhumanism has a lot of potential, and I don't get why people can accuse it of being inherently statist. It just means being able to modify, or enhance parts of yourselves through genetic or technological engineering in a way that uh, alters you in some way for the better. So I think it does open up the possibility, like through some sort of weird genetic therapy or some through bionics of maybe creating, uh, you know, real human animal hybrids, and that would be or or a human being able to modify themselves to take on more characteristics that they desire. So if they are like an otherkin, if you ever heard of otherkin, they're like people who identify as these animals or not. So we'd have instances where it's similar to transgenderism, but we'd have like a, well, not in the South Park sense, but more the sense where a person who wants to be more of an anthro wolf can actually become an anthro wolf or an anthro cat, or even a bird if they wanted, or even a anthropomorphic bird if they wanted to. The possibilities are endless. What do you think, Riley?
To start off, anyone who's against transhumanism, I would say, is a hypocrite if they use modern day medicine. Like cataracts would be a basic form of transhumanism, being able to fix your eyes with cataract surgery and everything else. Just transhumanism takes it to a much higher level, where we can slow aging,
Really? I have no idea, Riley.
can do genetic modifications and everything else, and people should have that. Like, one thing that we've been working on right now in the science field is people who are disabled being able to refix their spine so they can walk again. That's just a basic form of transhumanism. As things advance, we might have things like being able to relocate your consciousness into other bodies, upload yourself into the internet, even maybe do genetic modification. All these things, though, should be a person's choice what they want to do to treat themselves. But people will say that they're against transhumanism, but even use our basic medicines that we have now, don't know what they're talking about, because transhumanism has always existed to some level of scale based on technology that is used to advance human life. And that's all transhumanism really is using technology to give people more freedom and a better life, and for them to be able to reach the ideal body, ideal health that they want. And it's a really good thing for us to advance the scientific field.
That is a very interesting observation, and I don't see how that would in any way benefit the state, as a lot of people tend to be worried about. I think through enhancing the individual, it would help empower the individual and to become less reliant on the state, become truly a self-sufficient person through technology and other forms of genetic engineering. Do you agree with me, Grandpa?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But the reason why most people have these fears, and I think Base Unate is also one of them. I think he talks about Julian Huxley's theory about something about the breakaway civilization, about where the elites are ruled as gods and the most superior, while us peasants, the lower IQ retards, are their subjects. I think that's what the conspiracy about, but which I highly doubt it is possible they'll be able to get that power, because number one, the counter economy is the perfect example of it.
Oh, look who show up! Hey, Domari, what's up?
Hi. Yeah, wait, did you just start the live stream like 8 minutes ago, or was it just now?
Well, we just started.
We decided to give ourselves a head start, but you didn't really miss much. We're just doing our basic introductions. This is Domari, everyone. He's from the Domari Games channel.
Yeah.
Sauce, ultimate sauce monger.
Sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce.
The sauce.
Be real, for like 1 minute, I might be a little bit tired.
We got a question in the chat. It said views on transhumanism versus technocracy.
Transhumanism versus technocracy. Ooh. Well, technocracy and
Isn't there much difference?
They can overlap, but I don't think they're.
Oh shit! I don't have socks on.
They rely on one another. Technology
Would you like me to answer
means
that? I understand both of them.
Scientific experts.
Yes, please.
I don't think transhumanism would lead to a scientific oligarchy, if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah, technocracy is where robots rule, and transhumanism is like not that.
No.
Oh no, we're not. I don't think it'll lead to sort of Skynet's War of the Machines scenario.
Yeah, anarcho-transhumanism is like where people and robots are in harmony or something like
No,
that.
Not
so
really, no.
the difference between
No?
transhumanist ideology and a technocracy is transhumanism, whether it be minarchist, statist, or libertarian, believes that technocracy will lead us to a better life. Technocracy, on the other hand, is the ideal that experts within a field should rule society and that all our decisions should be made by experts. So, for an example, how Corona has been being dealt with lately, whatever the experts say is what we should do without question. And in a technocracy, that would be enhanced to such a level in which you're not allowed to question those leaders.
Wait, do
Now,
we have a technocracy?
no, we're not at that level yet. Now, now with transhumanism, yes, technology can be used for good or evil. Technology is neutral, like most things. They are neutral. A gun can be used good for evil. A car can be used good for evil. Anything can be used in a neutral way. It depends how someone chooses to use it. But transhumanism on its own does not lead to technocracy. Authoritarianism and people believing that the elite should rule society is what would lead to a technocracy. So that while transhumanism can be used by technocrats, you don't
And
need
statists.
people. That's what a technocrat is, Grambo. While technocracy can be used by the elites, right? It doesn't mean that it has to be. Just like a gun can be used for hunting or a school shooting, guns were designed not for school shootings, they were designed for self-defense, hunting, and sport, just as technology is designed to make people more free and for innovation not to be ruled, though it can be used for that. So it's up to individuals to protect technology and keep it away from technocrats.
All right, to be real, I don't really talk about politics much anymore, and I probably was never good at it to begin with. I mean, I still hold my beliefs of anarcho-capitalism or market anarchism, whatever you call it. I don't know.
I think the term should be used is basically voluntarism.
Yeah, that.
Well, I think transhumanism and voluntarism are mutually are mutually complementary to each other because
I mean, yeah.
Yes, they can, because it depends on the user and the individual that wishes to transcend their human self without actually losing their humanity, or at least on
these enhancements
the
have to
basic
be done on a
capacity
voluntary
of
basis.
self-awareness, I think.
There have been multiple cyberpunk stories revolve around basically people being involuntary enhanced beyond against their will and having to suffer for it. Like the entire for example, lead character Deus Ex basically admits he never really asked for it, but he still uses his enhancements for good.
Well, an example of forced technology could be how the governments are talking about putting forced microchips in people to monitor and track them. That would be a way that technology can be used for evil.
Microchips and vaccines conspiracy, I don't believe in the slightest. I don't think.
I didn't say in vaccines.
Yeah,
No. I didn't say in vaccines.
Yeah, we'll just
There's
make
already
an
some
example.
companies in Sweden, and I wish I had the link for it, that have already said that their employees will use microchips for entering and leaving the shop.
The fuck? It's real? Oh, dang. I thought you were just making an example or something. Dang.
No, this is actually a real company. I think it's in Sweden or one of those Scandinavian countries where they use microchips. They use it to get their pay. They use it for everything. There's some
I cannot believe of all places they
some,
would actually allow this to happen. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Some banks have allowed this too and have talked about moving to this. So I'm not saying like they're going to force it on you per se, right? But I'm saying that if they did decide to force it, that would be a way that technology could be used to harm us.
I agree.
All right. Can you guys see my camera?
Speaking of which, furries, I should be getting my fursuit by the end of the month, so I might be recording with camera on my fursuit. Yes, we are.
Oh, really?
Watchman, do you see this?
Yep, I can see your video.
No later.
All right, good.
So, Watchman, how would you like me to record myself live in my fursuit doing these conversations.
Yeah.
Well, talking in a fursuit is actually pretty hard. Your voice is muffled.
Oh, I put the mic underneath the fursuit.
Oh, that would work.
Be
You could just put it under the fursuit and you can like.
Yeah, wait, you have a fursuit?
Yeah, it's coming at the end of the month or sometime in November.
Oh, wow. What are you going to use it for?
So I would suggest that your persona is basically a bunny, yes?
Yeah, of course. That's why I go by Bunny.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Super C. This is
But
a hard freaking game, and I've beaten it before. I don't even know how I did that, but I might do that.
right.
That big CRT TV. Oh, yes.
But no, as we have seen though, with technology, we have peer-to-peer chat and things like that. So the reason why I support transhumanism too is because people will find ways to subvert centralization, to decentralize everything. People are working on internet decentralization. We already have cryptocurrency, which is decentralized currency. Everything that's advancements that is uses technology that has led us closer to being libertarian society has been through technological advancements, which is why transhumanism is very important and allowing libertarians to innovate and push more decentralization is vital to a libertarian movement, if not necessary.
And it grants more freedom and as well as more choices for the individual.
Ooh, what's this? Oh, it's a game genie. Yeah, the thing that makes you cheat in NES games.
Would
I'm
you
not
agree
using
with that,
though.
Night Watchman? That the more libertarians innovate decentralized platforms through money, currency, work, everything else, that'll lead us closer to a libertarian society?
Well, yes, I do believe that technology inevitably leads us to a decentralized, voluntary society because technology is starting to advance at a rate faster than the government is able to regulate it. Just look at 3D printers and what people are able to do that. I mean, Del Mar even owns a 3D printer, and he's been able to create a lot of cool stuff with it. Hey, Del Mar, you own a 3D printer, right?
Yeah.
So what stuff did you make on it?
Wait, give me a minute. What?
What stuff did you make on it?
I made a ray gun from COD Zombies, not an actual working one, but you know.
I mean, it's close enough.
You want to talk on the stream?
I made a purple NES cartridge. Should turn down this fan. You guys see? Oh yeah. All right. Can you hear me just fine?
But anyways, like I said,
Yeah, we can hear you well.
All right.
We are all.
Can you not hear the fan?
But I'm just saying that probably in only a couple decades, we'll be able to create gene therapies that'll be able to alter our genetic code in such a way that we'll be able to take on more animal characteristics. So, Riley, if you wanted to have bunny ears, you could have bunny ears. Or if you wanted.
Oh, I definitely would.
I want to do more than just genetic editing, but rather see if they can biohack my DNA and RNA, see if whether I have some known illnesses or known diseases that I basically am born or inherited with, or any type of
and it's not
known
just
faulty and imperfections within my own.
And not just that, but also be able to edit away imperfections and faults in the code that cures so many genetic and possibly neurological disorders. This could
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but the biggest problem is that they think that through subsidies of the state, along with through some kind of corporate support, is that we'll get through that. But the problem is that it does the opposite. It halts innovation and competition.
Yeah, like you said, subsidies stifle competition, and stifling competition hurts innovation. Okay, now your mic's muted. Oh, I need to ask, is it alright if I put some music on, or will that or will people not hear us? Because I've heard complaints from the last room that the
You
music
want
is too
music?
loud.
I think it would be better without music, Night Watchman.
Alright, I agree.
I could turn up my volume and hear the gameplay music.
Also, I really wanted to
Okay.
say this,
Cool.
Night Watchman. Hello?
Yeah, Grambo?
Hi.
Okay, I think this tool can also help, for example, improve their sexual libido in a way, I think, when it comes to, let's say, for example, you know how most males and females tend to be naturally either sterile because of the state? Imagine fixing that problem to make them unsterilized again. But also improving their sexual organs to the point where basically it can be like, just imagine like the concept of low birth rates and the concept of low populations would be the thing of the past.
I think you would make a good point there, Rambo. If I mean,
Like just imagine like women who have fertility problems like are unable to have children because they're married to the very husbands that they wish to spend the rest of their lives with, and yet they get the horrible news from their own doctors, their medical doctors, that they're unable to have children. Well, I think that this tool can pretty much fix that problem and do the ultimate Uno card on them.
and be able to make him
And not
able
just
to have kids again.
for female sexuality, but also for the male half as well. Like regardless of orientation and race, and including gender.
Exactly, Grandma. And we're already having a fertility crisis. If we'll be able to, if we're able to make unfertile women fertile again, that can really help our our the possible future issues with declining population.
And not just that, but make sure that the woman maintains her fertility.
Right.
For like, just imagine like how long, especially with the husband that she will be with for the rest of her life. Plus, I'll be right back.
Okay. Riley seems to be muted for some reason. Damari is playing some good old fashioned
I can still hear you just fine. I'm playing Contra.
Contra.
The sequel actually. Super C.
Alright.
I've beaten this game before. With no cheats.
No cheats? Are you serious?
Yeah, no cheats. Oh,
Oh. Gotta watch out for those turrets. Zip on by there. Yep, just shoot that door and get on.
die.
Alright.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Riley, you're back. Hang on, just let me switch to all video mode.
You know, what if you could actually run COD Zombies on the NES? That
Got a
would be
light
freaking
show
awesome.
now.
Got a light show going there.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you got a cat! It's nice.
Oh, look, it's the bunny fursuit.
Yep, it's the first shoot we're talking about. Super kawaii.
Kawaii. Oh my goodness, Riley, I love the cat you have. Is that a Bombay?
Is that a real
Yeah,
cat?
it's just a black cat. Yeah, it's real.
Nice. I also have a cat too.
Don't let it cross your path, it's bad luck.
Who's that?
Oh wow!
Oh, Riley, it looks
I thought this was cute.
adorable.
Oh come. Yeah, I say come like it's a frustration word. You know anyone else that does that? I bet not. Because come is a funny word. You spread gun. Okay, so
Heck, the cat is trying to climb up on the bed.
gosh,
So anyway,
can never
are we
get
still
the L.
are we gonna say anything
I'll
else
lay it
about
again.
transhumanism?
Grambo, any thoughts?
Hmm. Well, besides the whole sexuality stuff, as well as improving orgasms, infinite orgasms.
What?
I'm sorry, like I get very degenerative when it comes to in that regard. But no, but what about when it comes to environments? Like for example, like us humans, like we're basically adaptive into our own planet. For example, like this is like a natural terrain. I think it's like a terrain type of planet. Like just imagine like when it comes to genetic enhancements of surviving on planets that are much more harsher, like for example, whether it be a planet that is full of radiation or one that is very, very hot that even like the human body can't even maintain, or even extreme colder heat, or even through the those types of environments, or basically surviving a usual gas planet. You think that's possible?
I
Because
think we
spacesuits
could.
on.
I think we could make it so we'd be able to live underwater, but in a gas giant, that's a bit of a stretch, Rambo.
Uh, yeah, maybe. Then spacesuits it is then. But it would be an amazing concept.
It really would. Well, like I said, but
Hmm.
there's just a whole bunch of societal implications that comes with if we could genetically modify ourselves to become, in I use it. Uh, using the colloquial term just for shorthand, but the possibility of being a real furry could have a lot of societal implications.
Yes,
I mean,
finally spread gun.
it could have similar implications to transgender people today, and that they might not be fully accepted into normal or quote unquote natural society, and kind of like
Well, when it comes to transgenders, like, for example, like, if the person hates to being born of the gender that they were originally born into, basically by default, they could have the choice voluntarily to change the gender that they were originally
and
born. Like,
second,
for
there's
example,
also people
a
called
male can finally have a chance to be female again, but personality-wise, of a female, and a female can finally change to, I would say, a male too.
right. I and I think people have similar problems like other kin. Like people just don't feel like they're the right species, and through possible uh, advances in gene therapies, we'd be able to modify themselves to be the kind of anthro wolf or fox they feel like they are. And
Hey,
they
I'm
could
not
truly be
for or
happy.
against the idea of the anthros. In fact, it will be amazing. There are many type of human-like, animal, like this anthro-human style type of species. Nice. And plus, who knows? There could be a species of human-like dragons. With the I would say the physiology of a human, but with like lizard type characteristics, or like one with wings, if you know what I mean. Same thing with the more mammals type.
Well, like I said, Grambo, we already have. I mean, society already has a problem accepting just normal transgender people like Riley. But just imagine the just imagine
I think
the
the problem is the
cultural
trans-trenders,
the
like
cultural
especially like
panic that would result about people just simply wanting to change their own species and actually being able to do it. It would be just think of the conservative backlash from that, Grambo. I can't even imagine.
that is true. That is true.
I mean, I'm pretty conservative myself, but I don't have no problem with people trying to wanting to
Conservative
change the
in what
genders
context? Like
or species
the
or anything
terms
like that.
conservative, liberal, and centrist have basically lost its meaning. When you mean by conservative, what is in what context do you mean? Like liberal, or at least the very liberal that I used to believe in, is basically liberty of the individual, like the whole right to live and let live without having anybody or any institution of government of telling you what to do, think, feel, say, etc.
Well, I mean, certainly conservative in the sense that I do adhere to some conservative principles, such as gun rights, free markets, and I'm pro-life. But I have no problem with people wanting to change their own gender or species if they feel like they'd be happier that way.
Mm.
And a lot of people say, I'd have a problem with that, but I really don't. I mean, I used to have a bit of a problem with transgender people, but Riley
Only
helped
if
me
it's forced.
soften
Only if
from
it's forced and coerced upon people who don't want it on themselves, as well as on their offspring. Then yeah, it is a violation as well as it is a problem. But if the individual, as well as basically depending on the age, or well, to me personally, well, if they wish to do it voluntarily, then yes, power to you. But if it's done involuntarily, then yeah, we have a problem. Hello?
Hi.
Here.
Well, you still didn't really answer the question, Rambo. Well, we'll let Riley talk. Uh, Riley, what do you think the societal implications would be if people could become real life anthro animals?
I think at first cause like a lot of hatred for people who do it at something new. It'll be something, and you know how people feel about new and different. A lot of people don't take too well to it. I think it'll take a few generations for them to be equal.
That's something I fear is that these people I'll use the colloquial term, these furries would have to create their own communities, like, and where they feel safe and being able to be themselves freely. But I don't not and like you said, Riley, it would take a few generations before these people would be fully accepted into society. I mean, it took us multiple generations before we could accept homosexuals like Grambo into society. I mean, and that's
Yeah, but not in places in Eastern Europe and Southern Europe, or even like in China and Russia, like because of
and it's
the whole horrors under, I would say, behind the Iron Curtain, the Soviet Union, and then the horrors of communism. They completely much conflated that, especially with us as being the subversive. Those who wish to destroy the nuclear family and traditional values and family values along with it. When even we are also victims of the horrors of communism. Hello?
yeah,
Hi.
I could hear you, Grandpa. But let's see if I have any other thoughts. All I can say is that I wouldn't have a problem if furries were real. I just wish they wouldn't be acting like they act on those furry websites, like massive social justice warriors who just get triggered at the slightest drop of a hat. I would like them to have an actual backbone for actually be able to take a joke. But other than that, I'd be perfectly fine with it, even as a more right-leaning person.
I think it all depends on self-esteem, because most of these SJWs have low self-esteem, as well as they become so
Strength at
vindictive,
most,
and
I'd say
they often hate themselves of the very things they have not even achieved yet.
Well, I think you might have a point there, but if they could just.
Just beating this game effortlessly, but the next stage will be some fuck.
But I really think that the community, the other community, should really get their shit together before they even consider themselves ready to actually become the species they want to be.
I would argue that it's not just the other kin, but also the rest of the other communities as well, that are so desperate in this type of attention-seeking validation and affirmation of themselves because they have nothing left, especially what they have basically. What I'm trying to say is that they've been so overwhelmed and so overly focused on themselves on the basis of their race, their gender, and orientation that the very principle of merit and what they truly accomplish is basically lost to them. And that's what's truly terrifying. They have no skills or even the very potential, what makes them original, what makes them unique, what makes them, individuals. It's always about race, gender, and orientation first, and that's it. Anything that does not follow the narrative of the um, basically people of different orientations and skin color, as well as who speak differently, are the oppressed. The English, the white, or those of European languages, as well as the hetero and masculine, are the oppressed. And that to me really, really pisses me off. And that is the mantra of these people. They're like televangelists, but with a more SJW, as well as the more progressive twist on it.
I would agree that they can be two sides of the same coin, Rambo. But
Alright, guys, you might get nightmares from seeing this, but look,
and Tamari's
on my screen.
and Jamari is.
You'll see it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yep,
identitarianism is
Oh,
a
what
bitch.
is that? Oh,
Look at that.
oh,
Look at
that's
that
scary.
freaking thing.
Just stay
Well, do you
focused
guys
on
want to
it.
call?
The most
Since it
terrifying
really-
thing in 8-bit history is that.
Do you guys
Damar,
wanna call-
hold up. Riley was saying
Well,
something.
I'd
Hey,
like
I
to
just
ask Riley,
recorded.
since she is a furry herself, I'd like to ask,
Yeah.
would you be willing to become an anthropomorphic rabbit if you had the choice?
No.
Big time, 100%.
I would pretty amazed. I would be pretty much amazed to see Riley in a anthro bunny transformation and see what he really looks like. But also, when it comes to the abilities of the bunny, I would say high,
Enhanced leap,
better
like
jumping
she could be
abilities, faster speeds,
like, I know,
etc.
faster speeds and all that. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, real life furries would be like freaking superheroes with all the natural animal powers they have.
You know,
Super villains.
They would be basically like gods, but not really, because even they have some sense of weaknesses rather than full
Well,
strength.
not exactly though. It'd be like an X-Men situation. They'd still be
you
heavily
know,
persecuted.
since we're on the topic of anthropomorphic animals and even transhumanism, well, do I have time to talk about something? Because I'm going to talk a lot.
Yeah.
So whatever you have
Well,
to say.
this live stream
say it
is
now.
on the topic of transhumanism.
Transhumanism.
That's the subject of this stream.
But
You
we
have
should
anything else
give
to say
Delmar
before I
some
talk
time
a
to
lot?
talk because I don't want him to feel left out here. So,
All right. you ready?
Sure, why not?
All right, you ready?
ready.
All right, here we go. All right. So, when I was 13, I came up with this concept of a video game called Luke the Hybrid. And what it is, it's where, in like the near future, postmodern society, some politician who was actually from North Korea decides to fuck up everything and tries to ruin the world by nuclear warfare. So there's this company called well, sort of company, it's more a private security called the AAHQ, which means Animal Experimentation Headquarters, which tries to make human-like animal soldiers. But I mean, is it anthropomorphic, right? I don't know. But yeah,
Then it's
taking
not really
animals.
private.
Yeah.
Like if they're implying that this is what a private or at least company would do to involuntarily kidnap and
No,
force
no,
them into
no. It's all
becoming
voluntary.
furries, then that's not really private at all. If it's anything,
No,
that's more of a corporate
no,
interest as well, you know.
Hey,
no. I mean, it's voluntary. Anyway,
Honey.
so then but yeah, but they lose anyway. So so then the entire world destroys, and now it's a post-apocalyptic future where robots run the entire world. And but there are a few that remain still, and the most important one is Luke the hybrid, which is a hybrid of a cat and dog, and a human with human-like intelligence. Oh my gosh, this boss is hard. Basically, what the game is, it's yeah. Well, I mean, it's not real yet. I mean, I don't know when I'm even gonna release it, but I'm not even starting working on it yet. But it's like probably. I don't want to hype you up too much, but it's like years into the future. Yeah, basically, it's like a Metroidvania RPG, basically. Um,
Why is your camera
Not bad.
sideways, Damari?
because it just is. I don't have
Can
a
you turn
tripod.
buy a tripod so we can watch the game properly next?
Yeah, that's really all to say about it quickly, unless you want to know some details. But I
Oh,
don't know
I'm
why you
just
want
reading the
to.
chat right now. Lost One says Riley is super uwu.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, Night Watchman.
Yes, Grandma?
There is a subject that I really want to, or at least asked about, since we're on the cusp of the subject of transhumanism, or at least how much time do we got left?
Right. I think about making this stream just about an hour long, and then there's no point in making it extra
Okay,
long.
sure. Well, you mind if I talked about this subject since we're
Sure.
okay? Are you very well averse of the Kardashev scale?
The Kardashev scale. Oh, about, type 1, type 2, type 3 civilization stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? Oh my gosh! I'm just gonna. No, must stop.
Well, I think we'd. I think one of the most talked about points of transhumanism that we haven't really gotten to yet because we kind of descended into a bunch of furry talk is that transhumanism would allow us to basically live forever, kind of. And I think we'll achieve that right before we achieve any form of type 1. And in fact, I think type 1 requires that requires a population that doesn't age at all and works at peak efficiency.
Oh,
True.
well, actually, I want to explain more about Luke the hybrid.
But it all
First of
depends
all,
on
if you're wondering,
how long will we get to it? Like, will the state exist at the time?
yeah, I mean, if you're wondering what the graphics are like, I mean, it's
I'm sure
8-bit.
the state
So-
would. I'm sure that government of that scale would be impossible.
Yeah, and personally, I'm not a.
Yeah, I think
I have nothing really to say about them though.
And
So.
just any attempt at least trying to administer any colonial government on Mars would be a major hassle. They'd have to set up arrangement in which future space colonies would be able to self-govern or at least be government-less. And that's the future of anarchism I can see.
I-
gosh.
Is basically
I think that
outer
alone
space.
is going to be impossible because here's the thing. I think let's see. I think Filthy pretty much is very well averse in this when it comes to the whole aliens problem. Like, if we do reach to the more like to a type 1 or 2, it's going to be very incredible that we have all of these resources, like the very advances of technology, as well as the population density to the point where we can basically spread more into these stars. I'm afraid it does not even require even a state to do so. But it all depends on how long till the state dies out to the point where we
I'm
can
at the
find.
final boss, by the way. Can I still explain about Luke Dabbert a bit, like at least a little bit? Anyway, but yeah. So the rest of the story, even though the world basically ended, there's still some hope left. Because some of the soldiers in the AEHQ are still alive and well, because they were in cryo chambers the whole time, and they have a plan to make a time machine and go back and stop the politician, which his name is Revlin, by the way. Oh, look, I just beat the game. Nice. Anyway, so and how they do that, they have to fight a robot that Revlin made himself, Reaper AI, which is basically a Grim Reaper, but a robot. Nice. But yeah, they have to kill him, and then find all the. Well, I mean, the most important part is what Reaper AI has. But yeah, they have to find 8 pieces of the time machine and go back in time to stop Revlin.
That's a pretty interesting story, Delmari.
That's a pretty what?
A pretty interesting story, I said.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did I tell you
Anyways,
the
you were
graphics
saying?
bit? I actually do still have like the main sprite. Let me just send it to you. Hang on. About I just beat the game. Nice. I'm being super contra, just casually.
Anyways,
Find it.
Watchman, anything you
It's a
wanted to
pretty old
say?
photo.
Like I said, something we should have talked about first is the most talked about uh, in potential benefit of transhumanism is basically, and the most obvious is life extension. We could
Look at the
live.
general.
I would say
Yeah,
life longevity,
That's the hybrid right there.
the cures of known diseases, deformities, illnesses, cancers, any imperfections, basically physical, cellular, neurological, and etc. Like all of that, even on the basis of health.
Yeah, we got Damaria shaking his camera around there. Oh,
Did you look at the general?
yeah. Oh, he's.
I'm gonna.
Oh, his camera's flying around there.
It's still the same as usual. Anyways,
Yeah, did you look at the general? Now which one? Did you?
General chat?
Yeah, general.
yeah,
On
I'm
your
seeing the
server.
general chat.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah, that is the main character sprite of Luke the Hybrid. That's Luke the Hybrid himself. Yeah.
Oh, is he some kind of cat?
Yeah, he's a cat and dog.
A cat, dog.
He's actually a
hybrid.
combination of my 2 pets at the time, Hudson and Jingles. Hudson's a dog, Jingles is a cat. Oh, by the way, hang on. Oh, yeah, it's my cat right there. He's sleeping.
So that's everything we've all talked about. Anything else?
All right. I think the stream went on for
yeah. I mean,
usual length.
keep in mind that I actually came up with that story and concept. No, everything ever since ever since 2015. I was 13 at the time.
Well, I think this stream went on as long as it could. What are my closing thoughts? I think transhumanism has a lot of amazing potential for something as immortality, being able to give ourselves enhancements, literal superpowers, the ability to become any, like we said, to basically become any anthropomorphic species we want. And it's just something I've been dreaming, something I've been kind of daydreaming about since I was a teen in high school. Just what would society be like, real furry walking around? Or not just that, but also real cyborgs. And, just gets me so excited just thinking about it. We're just going to have to wait and see. Grambo?
Well, my closing thoughts are basically this. To me, the tool, or at least the idea of transhumanism, is not really a tool that is basically neither good or evil, as Riley stated before. It's neutral. It's how we use it. And allowing this wonderful tool that can help benefit the human race to not only reach its full potential, that will be able to transcend out of our own home world, but also to many worlds. And who knows, maybe we can find other advanced species and civilizations out there. But also to the point where everything within our own fantasies of that is so physical, emotional, sexual, can finally be fulfilled. Even whether you want to do it in the more virtual reality of transhumanism, where you can finally live there for like a digital reality for all time based upon your own merit, wanting to replace your organic body with a more mechanical, even though I basically disagree. Well, at least for my choice, if they can find a way to mold it, the bone and the metal into it, then hey, like power to you. Or the more of the biohacking position of transhumanism, which I'm basically and prefer of choosing, of wanting to improve, not just of wanting to be like my dream avatar, but also remove all of the diseases, neurological, all of the cancer, illnesses, the faulty, the imperfections of one's own self, to finally be improved.
Riley?
And to the point where we can finally, like, basically live to the end of time, and who knows, maybe there could be other known universes out there. And I think I'm basically a true. I think there is a possibility of a multiverse.
Oh, I do. I fully accept the existence of multiverse. I mean, it has to exist. I mean, the mere fact that we're able to make choices has to give rise to the fact that there are multiple universes out there. I mean, one universe says I had a ham sandwich for lunch, and another universe says I had a turkey sandwich for lunch. I mean, there has to be multiple worlds. We just have to wait and see. Riley?
I think transhumanism will come inevitably, whether we do or not, and that it will lead to more personal freedom, which will make the state.
Riley?
I said my point.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, you were cut off.
Oh, I said, I think transhumanism's coming. Whether we want it to or not, it will lead to us being more free.
And not just free, but also more into our hands, on our fates and destinies, based on solely we choose to be.
Domari, anything else you wanted to say before we call this stream to a close?
Oh yeah, I got one. Don't come to school tomorrow. No, I'm kidding.
Trust me, like the whole concept of government schools later in the years will become a thing of the past, thank goodness.
I gosh hope so.
Let us hope and pray
I
that
have the NES
that it
Zapper.
does.
Well, anyways, final shout out. Rambo and Riley, thank you for popping in. And Damari Games has his own YouTube channel of the same name. If you were to stop by his channel, he has a lot of interesting gaming videos and funny as hell YouTube clips.
It's a pleasure to be on the stream, Night Watchman.
And as it is a pleasure to actually host these streams. And I hope you have I hope everyone has a good night. And to anyone watching, thank you for watching the stream. All right, ending the stream.
Good night,